Morning, everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful Thursday. I wanted to jump on here really quick, and going live was the easiest way. Before I deliver the saddle blanket, Boro Sashiko inspired, that we were working on the other day together, and I said I would show it to you when it was complete. So with that, I have a number of super important errands to do, so I want to show you these before they are delivered. So this is how, okay, let me put it on the bear. Now this bear is not the bear that sold. This is my bear that I made a long time ago. But I use this bear as a prototype, and this is the saddle blanket. So this is the Boro Sashiko. Here, I'll show it to you first. This is the piece that we were looking at the other day before it was completely sewed. And these are the rings. Now this right here, let me turn that around, is part of a pocketbook. It's part of an old thrift shop pocketbook where I had one of the straps, and the straps was such that I could cut. Either end of the straps had the same clip, so it was perfect. It was perfect to use for this piece. So I put my little ring there, and then I just simply, when I took the clip, I just folded the piece of material over. But look, I used all the scrap threads that I had left over from sewing. And on here, I did just a basic running stitch. In the center, I did horizontal and vertical stitch. And then over here, you can see I did the little stars. The stars are really a lovely way to add aesthetic to your design, depending what it is you want. Now, the pockets, so look, I was lucky enough to have enough of the same fabric to use for the pockets. And then I put on here, so this is what, and I'm going to go over the, excuse me, I may have to keep sipping this. Thank you for being with me this morning, everyone. And I'm sorry if I seem rushed, but I wanted to share this with you before I don't have it. So it's going away this morning. So I'll share with you the package also about the information that I give. But what you can do, so these are pockets, okay, that the little baby polar bears, which you saw in a couple of videos before at the exhibit just very recently on my profile page. You will see the polar bears, mine, that I made in the exhibit with the saddle blankets and the little baby polar bears. So for that sale, I wanted this lovely customer to have another set where she can put the polar bears in. Okay, so with that, before I put it on the polar bear, what I did is I also put a, if I can find it here, it went inside. I put a little medal. That I have little medals that have sayings, and I have little I have a lot of little different things I got over time at the thrift shop, or I was specifically looking. Maybe I got them on sale at the Walmart. This particular one, I think I did get at Walmart. But the saying is lovely. It says, own your dreams. So you can get those and add them, but everything else here is scrap. And that's the goal, is to use scrap fabrics, organic fabrics. So it goes on the bear like this. Let's see if I can hold the bear up. Now I have this under because I put a little piece of cardboard, or in this case, a little thread case there to just give it a little support. So this is how the bear came out. I use my coffee coaster here for the bear to stand on. But look at that. Let me hold it up so you can see. Is that just not lovely? Is that just gorgeous? So all different colors. So I wanted to show that to you, inspire you to make a little saddle blanket. Now, mind you, this bear and the saddle blanket, this is Boro Sashiko inspired art piece. So it is not a toy. The bear is needle felted by hand, 100% wool, also not a toy. So what they are statements. They're art pieces, they're collectibles, they're statements that say, please, please clean our earth, take care of our earth. And that's where I'm using all the scrap fabrics to say, take care of our earth. And let's recycle in our way, right, that we can. But there's larger ways that big businesses and organizations can do much better collectively. And then the polar bear, we know that the habitat of the polar bear is at risk. So God bless the scientists and people studying up there who know nature, trying to figure out a way to preserve the habitat of the polar bear. So this polar bear is a huge symbol of what's happening. So anyway, with that, so I'm going to put the polar bear over here for a moment and share with you, if you're an artist out there and you are making things and you want to make a statement. Now, I'm not perfect at this. I'm trying to get my leverage on this so I'm heard a little bit. That's why I wrote the book. In my book, I answer lots of questions on how to do Boro Sashiko, but I also talk on the very significant messages I believe I'm trying to get across passionately, and that's about the environment and the appreciation of historical cultural arts, such as Boro, Sashiko inspired, and or Kawandi. So with that, with the package, I'm giving the lovely customer a thank you note, and I am putting my card in it. So this was also made by me, and this was made over 30 years ago, and it's signed so you can see the date. Back then, I did a series of Vermont birds, so that's great blue heron, and then I labeled them on the back, and I sold them at the art co-op. When it was easy, you could get into the co-op every Saturday. Now, you've got to go through all this paperwork. You have to have an EIN. You have to have insurance. You can't afford to make a few bucks. You can't do it. So that's the co-op here in the bigger city. So in Burlington. So it's very different from what it was then. So I give a certificate of authenticity, and I simply did this in my Canva. If any of you don't have Canva, check it out, because you can make this, you can make your business cards. That's why I made my business card. And this, I talk about the workshops that I'm available for. So you want to do that as an artist. If you sell something, you do want to communicate how they can contact you, if they have a question on the piece that they bought, or anything like that, or if they want another piece, right? Or they have a friend who wants to buy. So then I added this 2 pages of about the bear, about the bear. And I explained to them what they're made of and what Boro Sashiko inspired is. And I say also very quickly a few things you want to know about your bear. And then I say here, and I stress this a lot for those of you who are getting into needle felting, and those of you who already do it already know this, that the item is not a toy, but it's made from creativity. And then I say that again really big at the bottom. But you wanna say that because it, a toy is made completely different, and unless you know specifically how to do it, you would say this is what it is. It's an art piece and created with artistic techniques, and it's a collectible. That's what this is. This piece is meant to make a statement. It's meant to be on a shelf or centerpiece somewhere. If you take a piece like this, and I put it in here, I put lots of little tips in here. If you move a piece like this a lot, like you're moving the pieces of it, it will get air creases. It will get creases and pockets of air. So you want to, and then I say to touch it up every now and then, and you touch it up either with a needle felted artist who knows how to just kind of dab or splay the little pieces of wool, and you're not talking every other month. You're talking after several years. I had one piece, I didn't even have to touch it for 10 years. That was my little Scrappy, and I'm going to touch him up because now it's 25 years. It's 20 years. So anyway, but it will last a long time. So with that, I wanted to just get on here and share this absolutely beautiful piece, and say good morning to you, and spend a little more time with you this weekend. I want to say a viewer. She's asking the question. I talked about this on the last video. If you can design Kwandi from the center out, Kwandi is designed from the edges in, and that's where they get the little signature bunching in the middle. However, she wants to do it from the middle out. So we're going to play around with that idea and get some other projects going. So this is a super duper busy time of year for me in the next 2-3 weeks. However, I'm not me unless I'm here with you. So I will always make time to jump on here. So with that, I am going to head out, but I just wanted to share that with you. And as I promised, I would get back on here and share. So with that, you have an absolutely beautiful day. Enjoy your cup of coffee and pace yourself. Love and light.